So last time we discussed about the MCQs, right? 2018 MCQ paper. Did we finish the entire thing? As I remember, we finished the entire MCQ. Yeah, we didn't went to we were not stuck at the middle, as I remember. So the second paper is due today. So let me take the second paper. Yes, so this is the marking scheme. And English marking scheme is missing some pages, so we have to shift to the Sinhala one when we are like going through the first question. Okay, so first question is about this. So they are saying the character M is represented in the ASCII table as 109 decimal number. So they are asking write down the binary representation of word NO using 7 bits for each character, right? So you know how to do this, right? I'll clarify it to you. So the answers are going to be that particular things. Hold on a second. Yes. So excuse me. Yes. Sorry, dear. So let's take it like this. They are telling the letter M is equals to 109 in decimal. So, when the ASCII code is having some decimal value, we know those decimal values will represent the characters, and characters will be in the order. So ASCII code is also going to an order, right? So if M is 109, uh, so the N is going to be 110 because it's the next letter, and O is going to be 111. So they're asking what's the ASCII code of no, right? So the ASCII code of no have to be written in 7 bits because we know ASCII code is having 7 bits. We basically know what are the representation methods, right? So we know BCD, which is 4 bits, 4 bits representation, and then ASCII, which is a 7-bit representation, and EBCDIC, which is an 8-bit representation, and finally the Unicodes, a 16-bit representation. So here we are going to represent these numbers by 7 bits, which is very easy for you. So like the only thing that you need to do is you have to right, you have to convert the 110 into the binary, right? So there are many ways you can do the simple way, you know, like dividing this by 2, right? So like 55 remaining 0, 27 remaining 1, so 13 remaining 1, 6 remaining 1, 3 remaining 0, and 1 remaining 1, right? So you can say 110 is equals to 1 1 0 1 1 1 0, right? So you should be very keen when it comes to the 111 conversion. Either you can do it in this manner, right? Or else you have to just increase the number by 1, right? So increasing the number by 1 means, now look at the place value of these things. So these are like 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, and 64. No? So if you need to increase this particular value by 1, since the place 1 is also indicating a 0, so instead of this 0, if you put a 1, then this whole value will increase by 1, right? So in that case, you don't need to convert the 111 again and again. You can straight away write it by placing 1 over here, right? Or that is a change that we are making, right? And rest will be the same. Right? People, did you got that? Did you got the point that I was telling? Right. Okay, right, good. So it is easy, neither. Now to write the answer, you have to write the value of n first, then value of O next. So that is why the marking schemes shows these two things as the answer. So you can have 2 marks for that. Right, and in the second part, in the second question, it has 2 parts, A and B. So here what they are saying is, consider the following simplified logic circuit, which is designated to switch on a ceiling fan when the temperature is high while the power switch is on. Write down 2 relevant logic gates for P and Q. So some may have figured out when the scenario is reading, some will figure out, okay, these are going to be the logic gates for this particular thing, right? Some may not, but we can anyway we can find out in which we are going to catch the points regarding this question, right? Yeah, hold on. Right. So the points that you need to capture in this question are these. Like they say, consider the following simplified logic circuit, which is designed to switch on a ceiling fan. So like they are trying to switch on a ceiling fan. That is a 1 point that you need to capture. When temperature is high, so that is a condition to switch on the fan while the power switch on. That's another condition. And you can match this while word, since it is while, this means and, right? Because the meaning of this is to work the fan, you need both the temperature is high and the power switch should be on, right? So if we think about some variables regarding this. So let's say ceiling fan can be indicated by F, and temperature can be indicated by T, and the power switch can be indicated by P, or like the S, right? So we can simply write this in a way something like this: S and T bar it's going to be. Why it's going to be T bar? Because here it says switch is in on mode. So it means in the diagram it says on is equal to 1. And again it says temperature is high. So temperature high means the logic value you are taking is 0. So S should be 1 and T should be 0. So S is going to be on its natural state. T is going to be in the complemented state. So this is going to equal to the F, or the fan, because when the fan is on, the F is 1. So it's simply what? S dot T bar equals F kind of a equation, which you will need one AND gate and a NOT gate. So first of all, we have to go with the NOT gate. Then because of that, this particular place is the one who going to have the NOT gate. And then AND gate is going to be right over here. Right, this is how you complete the circuit. So P is going to be a AND gate, Q is going to be a NOT gate. Right? Is it clear, people? Right, great. Okay, so moving forward, consider the following simplified circuit of a washing machine. The following is a truth table equivalent to the above logic circuit. Write down the labels and the corresponding truth values, truth value of each label, right? So to do this, you need to have the final expression. Without that, you won't be able to think how this is going to be, right? So see how the final expressions work. Let's say P, power switch as P, door sensor as D, and water level as W. So here you are going to receive D dot W. And from this point, yes, Manika, you need what? Right, in this point, we can have D dot N dot P, right? So that is the expression that you need to work with the washing machine, right? And washing machine says working state indicate by 1, and not working state is indicated by 0. So like to produce a 1 in a washing machine, all these variables should go with 1, right? So how you are going to implement this thing? So D should be 1, N should be 1, P should be 1 to produce 1 in your circuit, right? So in case if you find any 0 inside a combination like 101, this is going to produce you the 0, right? So because of that, you can have 1 over here at the edge. All others will be zeros in all scenarios. So all these things become zeros. Is that clear for you all? Yes, people, is it clear? Okay, great. So the marks are given in this manner. So for the first part, it is 1 mark if you figure out both the uh, gates, P for uh, N for P and not for Q. Then yeah, this is the place where it miss. I'll show you this in that one. And for the second one, it says A to G is going to be zeros and H is going to be 1. And again, you are going to have 1 marks for that. Okay, moving forward, then they are asking what are the differences between, not actually the differences, differences between the waterfall and the iterative incremental model. So, you know, waterfall is something which change, like in the waterfall model, one phase should be complete to come to the other phase, right? So like designing should be, as an example, designing should be done to come for the development phase, right? You can't design, you can't develop while you design, right? But in iterative incremental model, that doesn't matter. You like figuring out something and you can start developing that, and meanwhile you can figuring out something else and add those development uh, to the development process, right? So it is going to be a major what the differences of the waterfall and the iterative incremental model, right? So here it says in the marking scheme, activities of each phase in waterfall lifecycle has to be completed before starting next phase, while activities of each phase will be partially completed in each phase of iteration in iterative incremental lifecycle, right? Or a synonym. Like if you got the idea, you can have the marks, right? If you have any alternative answers, just let me know. Yeah, let me see. Yes, Lalindi. Yeah, like then you have to compare Lalindi with this one with the iterative model as well. In waterfall model, we cannot go back after completing one stage, while in the iterative incremental model can, right? Then you can get the marks. Right now, if you just talked about on the waterfall model, you will be no, they are saying no partial marks, so they may not go for the marks, right? So you have to compare. Okay. Right. Then it is asking what are the benefits of iterative incremental model. So there are many, right? So like you can add the new requirements to the development process, and the requirements should not be fully defined to start the developing, or like at the very beginning of the project, right? You can define it at the middle of the project as well, right? And user is getting the opportunity to see how the things are going to happen, and even user can give extra suggestions or like new suggestions during the life cycle, right? So those kind of reasons, right? Low risk, yes, yes, can be taken though, can be taken. Right, so if you got any answer from these points, you can have. There are some more ones in here. shorter scheduler, right? Because in iterative incremental model, they are just creating what they have figured out so far, right? So they can have shorter scheduler for that and go for the creation. And meanwhile, if they find out something new, they can schedule it separately, right? So shorter schedules will be there, right? If you got any one of these things, it's going to be 1 mark for your answer. Right, then they are asking you to match the things in between the task and the ports. So it is definitely A is a power port, B is a network port, C is a USB, and D is a VGA port. So how we are going to match, like LED, to connect the LED into a system unit, you need D. So task 1 is going with D. Keyboard and mouse should go with C. You can use the PS2 lines as well, but PS2 ports are not here. So USB is the only one you can connect. So it's C. Task 2 is going with C. And the network connection should goes with the RG45 port, or like the network port, that is B. And the power cable is going to go with the power port, which is A. So that is why the answers are in this manner. Task 1 is D, task 2 is C, task 3 is B, and task 4 is A. So you can have 0.5 for each part of your answers, right? The fifth question is talk about that they have used some formatting on a statement, on a sentence. So they have given you the way they are, like before applying the formattings and after applying the formattings, right? Then you have to figure out what are the tools that they have used. So you can see the thickness of the letters are increased. So bold tool should be used, and it is being leaned to the forward. That means italic. And in the word 21st, in the above or the before formatting, the ST is on the same level with the characters, and the after formatting ST was at the top level. So to do that, we need to use the superscript, right? Subscript karot mokada wenne? You are going to have the letters in the lower levels, like lower than the normal lower level, right? So either you have to write the names, or you have to show the symbols. You can draw it and show, right? So the way they have given the marks is, if one is correct, 1 mark. If two are correct, any two, 1.5. If all are correct, then you are going to receive 2 marks. Okay, moving forward. Then they are asking you to match the things from the left column to the right column. So they have given you some details about the cloud computing. So we know cloud computing has 3 services, which call infrastructure as a service, software as a service, and the platform as a service. So infrastructure as a service means, like if you think about our standalone computer, infrastructure will be the network connection, the hard disk where we used to store data, right? And when we are like having a big network, we may having the service from a server, right? So if it is a computer, those become the infrastructure for it, right? And when it comes to the cloud computing, those things will be given by the internet. The storage, you don't need a specific storage in your device, because they are giving you a cloud storage to store things, right? And the network connections, they are provided through the internet, right? So like if two computers need to be connected, so those two can get connected through the internet. You don't need a what we call the network layout to do that in between those two computers. And even the server services kind of things can be acquired from the cloud. You don't need to have separate server computer if you are maintaining a network, right? So for A, it's going to be the EZ, right? And the software as a service, when it comes to the software as a service, the cloud will provide us some particular softwares, right? So like if you consider a standalone computer, we have to install those softwares specifically. And when you are using the cloud computing, you really don't need to. Cloud is providing you the installed softwares, like as an example, Google Docs, right? When you are using Google Docs, you are not installing Google Docs, but you just log into the driver and just working on it. That's all. So those can be taken as software as a service. So X goes with the B. And platform as a service, this is majorly about the platform. අපි standalone computer එක platform එක කියලා කියන්නේ it is the operating system. So likewise, that operating system services plus developing services kind of things are given by the cloud. So they are categorized under platform as a service, right? So B goes with the Y. So that's why answers, sorry, B is go, hold on, not B, C is gone with the Y, right? So that's why the answers are coming as A is Z, B with X, and C is Y. Again, the marks are going to be on the previous manner, right? Yeah, sure, though. The fifth. It is bold, italic, and superscript. Lalindi, do you need me to clarify it? No, right? Right, okay. Right, so those will be the answers. So like in the previous section, if one is correct, 1 mark, any two is correct, 1.5, and all are correct, 2 marks. And in the seventh, they are given some scenarios, right? And they are asking what are the correct devices, or like what are the correct ways that the communication methods that they can use, right? So here it says, let me take the question. Yeah, a question says, a manager of a bank while in Sri Lanka joining a meeting held in their head office in India. So the way we are meeting, like, so it is the video conferencing, right? A secretary sending a soft copy of a report from her from her manager to all employees working in different cities. So like this need to be done by the email services, not by the instance messaging, because it is not an official thing to communicate something like reports, right? So you should go with the email. And scenario 3, a technical officer sending a message to his manager informed that the machine has been repaired. So that's a short message, right? So you can go with the instant messaging. And for fourth scenario, a marketing manager sharing photos of a community service project and obtaining feedback from customers as comments. So that is definitely should go with the social network. So it is the place where we can like have these posts and have the comments regarding those, right? So the answers should go in this manner. Yeah, S1 is video conferencing, S2 is email, S3 is instant messaging, and S4 is social networking. Yeah, so each and every point can take 0.5, so 2 marks for the all 4 points. And the eighth one is asking about the color depth. And you know, if you need to calculate the color depth, you have to take the like bits per pixel as a 2 to the power, right? So then like, sorry, if you need to calculate the number of colors inside the picture, right? So you are going to take bits per pixel as a 2 to the power. So like this is going to be 2 to the power 10, or you can say 1024, right? So you can use the equation which calls, yeah, here you can use the equation number of colors is equal to 2 to the power bits per pixel. You can use that, right? Okay, the 10th, yeah, the ninth flow chart is a little bit tricky, right? Where you have to figure out how this logic is going to be applied in your flow chart. So it is saying, consider the given flow chart that finds the product of an integer with all the integers below it, right? So if you are really going to figure out this, you need to see how the scenario can happen, right? So it says if n is given integer, then the product is 1 into 2 into 3 into n, right? Until n, right? So that means you have to multiply with the number you given. So like as an example, if you given 6 as the n, so your answer will be generated by 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5 into 6. If you give 4, it will be 1 into 2 into 3 into 4, right? So this should be happen inside this particular flow chart, right? So let's see how this is going to happen. So in the flow chart, it says start and input an n. Let's take n as 4 as an example. So you have to figure out a number. You have to propose a number. And p is 1 and q is 1. So p will be 1 and q is also 1. And then there is a condition which is asking whether q is larger than n. And in the no path, there is an iteration. In the yes path, it's saying it is asking you to display the p. So display p means p is the one which is going to give you the output, right? That means so according to this 4, the output should be 1 into 2 into 3 into 4, right? So that means 24, right? Because 1 into 2 is 2, 2 into 3 is 6, 6 into 4 is 24, right? So, but this particular thing cannot be done at once. This is happened one after the other, the multiplication. So if you think about the multiplication, these values are in the incremental form, like which increased one after the other, like one by one, right? And if you decompose the process that happens, it is something like this. First, the 1 is staying as it is. So the answer can be taken as 1 as well. Then 1 will be multiplied by 2. Then the answer becomes 2. Then 2 will be multiplied by 3. So then answer becomes 6. And 6 will be multiplied by 4. The answer becomes 24. Right? This is how we're going to decompose the product which is happening together. So now you can figure out what is actually happens. So this particular one, it is an answer for the previous step. It is being multiplied by the 2. And then the answer of that particular multiplication is multiplied by the 3. And the answer of that particular multiplication is multiplied by 4. So always the previous answer is going to multiply it by some component. Now, step by step, it is going to increase. First, it was 1, then it was 2nd, then it was 3rd, then it was 4th. Right? So, now, anyway, these are going to be, now 24 is going to be our answer. So, 24 is happening here. So, then that means this is going to be P anyway. So, if this is P, this is newly generated P, then this is going to be a P also. It's a previous P. And this particular 1, 2, 3, 4 is something which increase one after the other. So if this is P, this is going to be Q anyway. So like now how we going to increase the Q? That is why this process is there. So for M, it's going to be Q equals Q plus 1. So for each iteration, Q will get increased. So Q is starting from 1 and will be increased one after the other. And L is going to be P equals P into Q. Right? So the answer for L is P into Q. And answer for the M is Q plus 1. Let's hand trace this and see, because the second part is calling about talking about if n is 4, what should be the values of P and Q, right? So if we give 4 as the input, P is 1, Q is 1 at the top of the flow chart, then it is comparing whether Q is larger than n. So Q is not larger than n because Q is 1 and n is 4. So we are going on the no path. So we can have P equals P into Q first. So P into Q is 1 into 1. So it is 1 still, no changes of P. And then Q equals Q plus 1. So that means 1 will become 2. Right? Then it will check again whether Q is larger than n. So Q is still not larger than n. Q is 2 and n is 4. So doing the loop again. So then P will become 1 into 2. That means 2. Q will become 1 plus. So that means 3. So still n is not less than Q. So then P will be happening. So 2 into 3 is 6. So this will generate 6. And Q will be increased by 1. So it will become 4. And still Q is not larger than n. They are equal. So it is not larger than n. So it still go on the no path. So then 6 and 4 should get multiplied, which means 24. And 4 will become 5. Right? So for the answers of the second part, if n is 4, value of the P is going to be 24 and value of the Q is going to be 5. Right? So those should be the answers of yours. People, did you got this? Yes, everyone. Right, okay, Vihansa. How about others? Himanadi, yes, it's a little bit hard to, yes, it is. I accept because you should figure out how to go with the logic, right? But first we have to figure out P, and then we have to think, okay, the other one is going to be Q, and then we have to see how the Q is going to increase and how the P is going to work, right? Right. Okay. So moving to the 10th question, it is asking something regarding the database, right? Assume that a new division named IT located in Colombo 3 is to be added. Write down the new record that has to be added and the corresponding table name. So the corresponding table name is going to be the division table because it's a new division that they are going to add. And the record is going to be how? The division name is IT, and the division number is going to come as 4, and the location, say in Colombo 3. That should be the record, right? So division table is the table name, and the record is going to be like this. And then they are asking, Saman and John works at stores, Fasal works at finance, Raj recently joined to the IT division, complete the things in P2S. So you should be very careful, right? I was mixing things up when I'm doing this for the very first time, right? So Saman and John works at stores. So Saman and John, that means P, and the one with the R. So they are working at stores. Stores means the division number is 2. So here you should have 2. P and R is 2. Raj is working at finance. So finance means 1. So then this is going to be 1. And I'm sorry. It's not Raj. The Fazal is working at finance. So this is going to be 1. Raj is recently joined with the IT. So IT means the one we written as a new record. So this is going to be 4. So it's P is 2, Q is 4, R is 2, and S is 1 for the answers in the 10th question. Right. So the first question is done. So the marks has gone for the for the 10th part. A will be having 1 mark, and B part will be having 1 mark separately. Right. For the flow chart, A is having 1 mark, and B is having 1 mark separately. Right. So see how many out of 20. And if you got any question, you can ask now, or else I'm going to move to the second question. Anyone who has done the second question? Okay. Like if no one has done the second question, I can omit it. Okay, Larendi, you have done. All right. So let's go with the second question. Now, second question is talking about the health issues regarding the computer usage, right? Now, we haven't go through this lesson so far, where we have to have a time to do the discussion regarding this, right? I'll arrange one and tell you. So meanwhile, let's go through the question and learn by the question. So this is asking about, this is talking about some health issues and the possible reasons and possible solutions for that, right? So first one is saying about carpal tunnel syndrome. Carpal tunnel syndrome means it is happens around our wrist, right? Because of not keeping your arm in the proper manner when you are using the mouse and the keyboard, right? So to avoid this, they say to rest your arm on a surface when you are dealing with the mouse and the keyboard, right? නමුත් අපේ ගොඩක් කට්ටිය පුරුදුලා තියෙන්නේ arm එක rest කරන්නේ නැතුව arm එක කොහේ එල්ල වැටෙන දීලා wrist එකෙන් ඔයාගේ අත අල්ලගෙන ඉන්න නැත්නම් අත hold කරගෙන ඉන්න. right ඒක නිසා wrist එකට දැනෙන pressure එක වැඩි. So when the pressure is high in the wrist area, it will damage your nerves and will cause some painful things, painful situations when it's regarding the wrist, right? So for A, the possible reason is the H, painful compression of a nerve as it passes across the front of the wrist, right? So then the computer vision syndrome is the one you are getting because you are dealing with the computer screen for a very long time, right? Without giving any break for your eyes, right? So at least we are seeing at least once an hour, right? We have to like stretch our eyes and have to look something very far from your like fine distance, so which will relax your eyes, right? And you have to what ඇසිපිය ගහන්න ඕනේ හිතලා හරි, so which will allow to clean the eyes, right? And keep the moisture around the eyes, right? So those kind of things should be done when these things are happening. So like so computer vision syndrome or the digital eye strain is happened because of looking at computer screen for a prolonged period, right? So the B is going with the capital I. Yeah, this is a little bit a jumbling word, right? It says musculoskeletal disorder, right? So musculoskeletal disorder happens because of the bad posture, right? Now, when you are working with the computer, you should keep your spine in a very straight manner and have a backrest, right? Otherwise, you will be getting back pains very quickly, right? And you have to sit on a seat with the proper posture, and the proper posture is like you should have your arms on the table, resting on the table, and you should have your feet touching the ground, right? So and using the stool kind of things to sit down is not a very good idea to do the long-term works on the computer, right? So you have to have a proper posture, as it says, to avoid from these musculoskeletal disorders, right? So the reasons is going to be poor posture or a non ergonomically designed workspace, right? So if you match those things, A for H, B for I, and C for G, you can have 3 marks, right? Then the possible reasons. Now, there are several different reasons that you can go with, right? I'll show you the marking. It will show you the ways they have discussed about this. Yeah. Yes, these are the possible reasons, right? Like possible solutions. So with the A, or the carpal tunnel syndrome, you can go with all of these solutions like Q, R, S, T, and U, where Q described as stand up and stretch the back, arms, and fingers frequently. So it will rest your arm. And the R is saying take regular short breaks from repetitive tasks by using an alarm as a reminder. So that means the pressure on a wrist will be released when you are getting periodic time breaks, right? And the S is sorry, S is talking about avoid bending the wrist and keep the arm, wrist, and fingers aligned when typing. So it will directly give a solution to the carpal tunnel syndrome. If you go on that manner, you won't be like caught up with those health issues, right? And T, use keyboard shortcuts to reduce typing and mouse movements. So it's indirectly avoid the time like not be avoiding, reduce the time which we are dealing with the mouse and the keyboard, so which will indirectly lead us to rest our wrist in a very shorter time, right? And when it comes to the U, it says avoid hitting the keyboard too hard while typing, touch typing. No, yeah, no, it's a very remote reason, but they have given you the marks for that particular one. So all you have to have is one of these things, like either Q, O, R, O, S, O, T, O, U, right? So if anyone is there, you can have the marks for that. And for the B, it's PRBW, right? So the P is saying rest the eye muscle by looking up and staring for a moment at object in the distance, so which we talked about. And R, as we talked earlier, the short breaks kind of things. And B, position the computer screen to avoid glare. Use curtains or drapes on windows. Yes, so because you have to have your computer in a very clean, uh, undisturbance position. Seven අල්ල වැටිලා හරියට පේන්නේ නැතුණාම අපේ ඇස් දෙකට එන විඩාව වැඩි. ඒතර අපි ඇස් පුංචි කරලා බලනවා අපි like ඕක අපිට ගොඩාක් experience කරන්න හම්බ වෙනවනේ when we are watching a TV. So if the TV is nearby a window, definitely you are going to have those shadows and everything inside the TV. Like you can see yourself as well within the cartoon. නේද? So like ඒ වගේ එකදී ඔයගොල්ලෝ කරන්නේ curtain එක cover කරලා කරවල කරන්න බලන්න. So likewise, monitor should be on a proper place without giving any headaches to you. Like where the eyes, where the eyes are able to like look into the screen without a problem or without a hesitations, right? And W is keep the computer screen about 15 to 20 degrees below eye level. Yes, that is a must. That is why the computer tables are on that height. මොකද ඒක ඔයගොල්ලෝ පුටුවේ ඉඳගත්තම computer table එක automatically design කරලා තියෙන්නේ monitor එක ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ ඇස් වලට වඩා පහළට connect වෙන විදිහට, right? So that is another possible solution. For C, they are proposing Q and R again, right? Stand up and stretch back thing, and the taking short breaks. So if you got any of these answers, so you can have the 3 marks for that particular thing. So A, anyone from the first row, B, anyone from the second row, and C, anyone from the third row of the third column, right? So likewise, you can have 3 marks for that. So altogether 6 marks for that part. And the second part is talking about some scenarios and actually the threats. You have to identify what are these threats are. Right, so the first one is directly talking about the phishing. You are receiving some email or SMS or something at your device by saying some changes has happened to some website that you already know, where you use your credit card numbers, username and password on those on that site. So if you click that particular link, it will give you a very genuine kind of page, which is a not genuine one, right? Which is a fake one, but it is in most of the cases, it is something very similar to your web page that you go to use that facility. As an example, if you take internet banking, මෙතනත් ඒගොල්ලෝ කතා කරලා තියෙන internet banking ගැන තමයි. So like internet banking එකේ login page එක වගේම page එකක් the fisher will introduce to you. Then you will unknowingly give the username and password and these credit card numbers if they are asked to. So then the fisher can see those things because it is done by him. So first one is going with the phishing. Second one is going with the plagiarism, because the practice of taking someone else's work and publishing them off as one own. අපි ගොඩක් වෙලාවට ඉන්ටර්නෙට් එකෙන් ගොඩක් කට්ටිය කරන දෙයක්. This is category under ethical issues on your last lesson, right? ඒක ගොඩක් වෙලාවට කට්ටිය හිතන්නේ නැතුව කරන දෙයක්, right? අරගෙන ඔහේ දාගන්නවා. Like the way we can do this is we can copy things. Yes, we can extract things from the internet and it's better we give the reference, right? This is the place I took these things, like from this particular book that I have extracted this thing, right? Then it will be an ethical one, right? So it's plagiarism if you are doing it without informing or without uh, a permission, right? And a person having unauthorized access to computer networks and accessing personal information such as name and address and customers. Yeah, now this is hacking, right? So you have to hack into a system or to a network to steal these things. Otherwise, you won't be able to. And last thing is talking about the privacy, right? Where, sorry, piracy, where the unauthorized copies of a licensed software are being sold like with the 5% discount of the original price. Like that doesn't matter about the discount. If you are not owning that software, you can't sell. Or if you are not authorized to sell that software, you can't sell it because it is an illegal thing to sell or to distribute or to use the licensed softwares without the permission or without a proper license, right? In most of the cases, in Sri Lanka, including myself as well, we are using some pirated softwares, right, here and there, right, for other things, but which is not a good one, right? So the a better solution is a better solution going to be use the similar kind of software which are in the open source manner, right, free and open source manner. So like they are available to use freely, right? You don't have any license issues regarding the free and open source software. Okay, so likewise, the answers are getting. So A is phishing, B is plagiarism, C is hacking, and D is piracy, right? So if you got those, you can have 4 marks for that, right? All right. So the people who have done the second question can sum up the things and see how many out of 10. And I'm moving to the third question, which is the HTML one. So it is like the previous places, previous questions. It's given from what the blanks 1 to 8, and to ask you to fill those things. So let me take the question paper. As I remember, it was not very clear in the question paper. This particular thing. It is. It is. So the first one is for the first label is after the H2. So tips for health life. So like tips for health life is at the top of your page, and it is been italicized. So you should have I as the number 1, right? So number 1 is going to be I. And people, remember, when you are answering this question, don't give the answers within the angle brackets, because it is given in the angle brackets already. So all you need to do is just use it, just write the tag name, right? So if it is I, it is just I, right? So this is the correct way. If you are writing it like this, they are not giving you the marks because this angle bracket is already there. So if this is going to be the label, your final answer is going to be something like this, which is wrong. So this is wrong. This is the correct way of writing the things. In case if you are not given the angle bracket in your answer script, then of course you have to go with the angle bracket, right? So be careful when you are doing it, because HTML question, most of the people will go with it because it's easy to achieve, but be careful, right? Okay, so first one is that, and the second label is before the image, and you can see image is being center aligned, right? Actually, it is in the paper, we can't clearly see it center aligned or not. Yeah, it's not fair, right, when it comes to the this particular page, but they have used the center tag as the answer, right? They should have gone with the one single picture, then that center line thing can be clearly seen, right? So anyway, it's the center tag that you are going to use as the second label, and then it is the image tag, img tag. So img tag must have a src which defines what is the picture. So the third label is going to be the src attribute, just src. And the fourth is going to indicate you the alter tag, because the image is having this attribute to show an alternative text when the image is not being loaded into the website or like the web page, right? So alt text is given as alt in the attribute list. So 3 is src, 4 is alt, and the fifth is actually going to be an unordered list, because after that there is a list item. And if we look at the look at our web page output, there is a place where you can see the bullets, right? So this is going to be a ul, 5 is going to be a ul, unordered list. And 6, of course, it's going to be a table, because all these tr, th, and tds are used after that. So those tags are allowed to use inside a table tag. So 6 is going to be table, right? And the seventh, we can have the seventh as an anchor tag, right? Because the href here is indicating the hyperreference. So to have a hyperreference, we should have an anchor tag, right? According to this and according to the output, right? Because water H2O has underlined. So you know, either it should use the U tag, or else if you are using the anchor tag, it is automatically underlined. So here we don't have a place to put the U tag. So because it's inside a tag which has the attribute of href, so 7 is going to be a, just a. And H2O word, they have put a couple tag in at the sides of 2, and it's going to be a subtract which indicate by sub, right? So 8 is going to be sub. So that is how the things are going to be distributed in the HTML question. So the marks are given in this manner. So from 1 to 7, it's 0.5 marks. Then for 8, 1, they have given 1 mark for that, right? So altogether, you can take 4.5. Yeah, people, is it clear so far? Right, great. So moving forward, the second part of that is talking about a URL. So they have given the list of the terms and given the label and asked you to match it. So we know HTTP, which is labeled as P, is the protocol, hypertext transfer protocol, right? Then Q is going to be www. It is the service which is provided by the internet. So we name it as World Wide Web. And the R is the domain name, right? The entire thing, www.edupub.gov.lk is the domain name. And the very end part of that domain name is called the top level domain, which is the .lk part, which is indicated by label S. And gov also a domain, but it is not a top level domain, right? So we can take it as a domain, right? Then after the T is the path to the resource, because at the very end, as the chapter 1.pdf, it is the resource. Resource can be a PDF file, an image, another web page, right? Kind of things. So the U is going to be the resource, and T is the path to resource. And as they have marked the entire thing, which we call the URL or the uniform resource locator. So if you got that correctly as it shows, you can have 0.5 to each naming part, so which will give you 3.5 marks, right? So the previous one gives you 4.5, this is 3.5, so 8 marks is done. So other 2 is given for this particular thing, right? And even that you have to choose the things from the above list, right, which is in the second part. Yeah, second part A, is it so? Yeah. So what they are talking about is delivers web pages to client using HTTP. So like when things are delivered to a client using HTTP, it is regarding a web server. මොකද අපි web server එකක් පාවිච්චි කරන වෙලාවට තමයි අපි HTTP දකින්නේ. Like when you are visiting to a website, that means you are going to a place or going to accessing to a computer which has the HTML pages or like websites which has been connected with the internet in 24/7 manner, right? So when you're accessing that, that particular computer is the one who giving you the service. So that is called the web server, right? And we are acting as the clients who are receiving the service. So now from that particular computer to our computer, how the things are going to come, it is through the internet and using the hypertext transfer protocol, right? So A is going to be a web server. B is going to be the IP address because it is the way that you can identify a device uniquely in the internet as well as in any network, not even the internet. In any network, you can recognize, not you actually, the devices can recognize other devices by using its IP address, right? And in C, it says every mail that is sent passes through a series of these type of servers along its way to its intended recipients, right? So it is talking about an email, so definitely it's going to be a mail server. So like how mail servers are working, like if you got a Gmail account and your friend got a Yahoo account. So when you are sending something to your friend, your email will first go to your Gmail server, and from Gmail server, that mail will be traveled to the Yahoo server, and from that Yahoo server, your friend is going to receive it in the Ymail account, right? So then it is a series of servers. Gmail server is there, Yahoo server is there, right? So those mail servers means what? The places which holds the emails of that particular clientele, right? So Gmail පාවිච්චි කරන හැමෝගෙම emails තියෙන්නේ inside the Gmail server, one particular server. So how I am seeing my things and why I am not seeing your things, because I am given a username and a password which allows me to view my mails only, not any others. So you have given the username and the password of yours, so you can see your mails but not the others, right? So but everything is located in a one single place. That is what we call a mail server, right? So C is the mail server and D is definitely the spam, unwanted email messages. So like the email is labeled as unwanted for many reasons. Maybe it is big in size. That is the most what the frequent reason to label some email as a spam, right? So and it can contain some malicious softwares, suspicious softwares, so it is been labeled as a spam as well. So the advice regarding this spam is not to open if you do not know the sender, right? So it can be a risk to your computer, right? It's potentially harmful, can be a potentially harmful one, right? So D can be considered as spam mails. So if you got everything correct, you can take 0.5 for each point. So altogether, you are going to receive 2 marks for that. Okay, so moving to the fourth question, right? The Excel one. Yeah, so they have given some what you call the models regarding some goods, and they are calculating the total costs. My picture in the marking scheme is not very much clear, but we can go with the answers. So they are asking what should be the formula written in cell B6 to calculate the total for model A in the form of equal function cell 1 colon cell 2. So they are straight away asking about the function. So we know to adapt things, we need sum function, right? So equal sum, you can go B3 colon B5, or you can go the other way around. Like don't go for like don't miss the equal sign. මෙතන පෙන්නලා තියෙනවා වගේ ඒක මාකින් එකේදී අනිවාර්යෙන් හදන්න ඇති. You can give the range on the other way around, right? If you give it like sum equal sum B5 colon B3, still it can be taken as the same answer or the correct answer, right? So you should have equal sum open brackets B3 colon B5 close brackets, or B5 colon B3 close brackets, right? So for part B, yeah, hold on, I need to find the part B. It is also missing now. Let's go with this. So in part B, they are asking about what is the formula to be calculated the cost with the delivery charges, right? So delivery charges is there at right in the B10 cell, right? So what you have to do is you have to add the delivery charges to the total cost to calculate the total including delivery charges. So since they have not mentioned this particular thing is going to copy to other cells and such thing, they have given marks for various different ways of writing in this answer, right? So you can see hold on, before that I have to go through the B neither. If this formula in B7 copied to the in B6 copied to the C6, what would be the answer? So it's going to be 73,250, which means the addition of 71,000, 750 and 500 on the C column. Because when you are copying a formula from one cell to another along a row to the right side, your letter is going to get changed, not the number. So B will become C when you are copying it to the next column. So it will it can be seen as equal sum C3 colon C5. So C3 colon C5 means 71,000, 1,750 and 500, right? So altogether it's going to be 73,250. And look at this, the lower point, it says C6 ඊතලයක් ගහලා colon එකක් තියලා ඔහොම තියලා කෑලි කෑලි දාලා දුන්නොත් ලකුණු එකක් දෙන්න කියලා තියෙනවා. 1.5ක් දෙන්න එපා කියලා. මොකද ඒකට 1.5ක් දීලා තියෙනවා. First part is having 1.5, A, B is also having 1.5, but අර මෙහෙම ලියලා තියෙනවා නම් C colon කියලා දාලා 73,250 කියලා ලියලා තියෙනවා නම් you're going to lose a 0.5, right? All right, in the C part, they were asking how to calculate the total cost with the delivery charges. So these are the answers that they have proposed. So you can go any one of the answers, right? It is like they have disregard the dollar mark because they haven't mentioned this is being copied to something else. But when it comes to the next part, you must go with the dollar sign because the question is on that manner, right? So for the C part, you can have any answer from this list, right? Right. So in the D part, So if you got that C part correct, you are given 2 marks, right? And for the D part, it is asking if the B7 is being copied to the C7 and it took the value of 73,600, then what should be the formula in C7? Now they have said it is copied from B7 to C7. And now if C7 is receiving like 73,600, that means the total cost, which means the 73,250 is added with the 350. So that means copy වෙනකොට B10 කියන reference එක වෙනස් වෙන්න බෑ. ඒකනේ copy වුණාම B10 ව add කරගෙන තියෙන්නේ C6 ට. නේද? So then inside the B6 there should be dollar sign as well, right? So if I clarify it to you, if this is B column, if this is C column, if this is the 7th row, then මෙතන ලියලා තියෙන කෙනා තමයි මෙතනට copy කරන්නේ, right? So somewhere in the 10th row, 8 9 10, it is having 350. So this particular thing is represent here as well as here, right? මොකද මෙතන තිබ්බ total cost එක 6 එකේ තිබ්බ total cost එක මේ figure එක මෙතනට එනකොට P6 is added with B10, and when it comes to this point C6 is added with B10. ඒක නිසා මේ position දෙකේම B10 විදිහටම තමයි ඉන්නේ. So you have to absolute the B10 then, right? Then how we are going to absolute the B10? So since you are copying through the like copying along the row, it's the letter that is going to change. Row number is not going to change because you are not going downwards the column. So having the dollar mark at the left of the letter B is sufficient, right? You can go with B10 plus P6 over here, right? So when you are copying this to this, it will become C6 plus dollar B10. And you can put dollar B $10 instead of dollar B10 plus C6 is going to be there. So one of these answers, and you can go with the sum function as well. B6 plus dollar B $10 is going to be there. So these are some of the answers. I'll show you the marking scheme. So it says, yeah, C6 plus dollar B $10 or C6 plus dollar B10, or else you can go with the sum function for C3 to C5 things, and then you can add the traveling cost, right? So either way, you are going to have 1.5 marks. Then in part 2, they are talking about some PowerPoint things. So about the layouts. So first one is the title slide. That is why the big 2 boxes are given. And second one, the B is going to be the 2 content one. Like after the title, you can see the 2 contents at the left side and the right side. C is having nothing, so it's a blank title or the blank layout. And D is the title only layout. It is the title, the room is given, or like the text box is given only for the title. So if you got all 4 things correct, one is having 0.5 marks and 2 marks are given. Right, and in part B, it says, yeah, they have given some viewing options, right? And they are asking you to choose the one or choose the view which can sort your things easily. So it's going to be the slide sorter. Slide sort, when you have the slide sorter, you can see all the slides of your presentation at a one screen. So you can change the order and you can change the way it's going to be presented. Normal view will not allow you to do such thing, because in normal view, you may see the slides or you may not, all the slides, right? Slides kind of වැඩි වුණොත් ඔයාගේ වම්මට පැත්තේ තියෙන තීරුවේ ඔක්කොම ටික එක සැරේ බලා ගන්න බෑ. So it is not very easy for you to sort things. And outline view, it will just show you the contents on the slides from your left hand side. So it will not help you to do the sorting. Slide sorter is the answer. And notes page is what? You can have the the footnotes regarding a slide. So when you have the note pages, you will be seeing the slide as well as the footnote page regarding that slide, right? And it is again not allowing you to sort properly. And reading view, it is just another view which is look-alike as a presentation, like presentation again again total screen එක පුරාම තමයි එන්නේ, but you will be seeing the taskbar. And again, it's not helping you to sort things out. And slide master, it is not for sorting, but slide master is there to change your layouts on your presentation. Slide mastering අපිට හම්බෙන උදව්ව තමයි like දැන් හිතන්නකෝ ඔයගලන්ට title slides 10ක් තිබුණා කියලා. So you can change the way of title slides at once. ඒ කියන්නේ text boxes දෙක add කරන්න ඕන නම් හැම slide එක හැම title slide එකකම you can go for the slide master and choose the title slide. And once you distance the text boxes in that slide master's title slide, all your title slides in the presentation will have the same effect. That's why the title slide master is there, right? Then handout master is about printing the handouts through the from the presentation. So you can like compose the handout, how it's going to be, right? There are many different ways. And again, the note master, you can manage the footnotes with the note master. So you can have that facilities, right? So for the answer for this particular thing is the slide sorter. So 1.5 marks are given. So altogether 10 marks will be there. All right, people, is it clear so far? Yes, everyone. Okay, thank you very much. Right, moving to the fifth question. So in the fifth question, it is regarding the database, and it is having the category table, sales table, and the branch table, right? And they are asking what are the primary keys. So if you look into these tables, sales table is having month, shop ID, and sales. And category table is having category and items. And branches table is having name, shop ID, and category, right? So yeah, hold on, category, yes, shop ID is there, yes. So if you you can clearly recognize that the category table's primary key is going to be the category, because it is A, B, and C, which is not repeating, and only 2 items are there in that table. So the item description is recognized by the category. So you can go for that very clearly. And if you look into the branch table, you can see a category column as well. Now you know that category cannot be a primary key because it is a primary key on another table. So this is acting as a foreign key, category in the branch table. And apart from category, there is name and shop ID. So name, we are not taking name as a primary key. It is not good to have those things. And shop ID regarding the branch table can be taken as a primary key because branches are talking about shops. So shop need to be recognized uniquely. So shop ID can be taken for branch table. And when it comes to the sales table, shop ID alone won't be able to carry as a primary key because it is repeating. But if you join that shop ID with the month, you can find something unique. So for the sales table, it's going to be shop ID and the month as the primary keys. So they are just asking about only two primary keys with its table. So you can take any two of these and can acquire 2 marks. Right? So for branch table, it's shop ID. For category table, it's category. For sales table, it is month plus shop ID. Right? 2 marks are given. Then they are talking about the foreign keys. So as we talked earlier, the category inside the branch table is going to be a foreign key because category is the primary key of the category table, right? And shop ID is there in the sales table. It is going to be a foreign key because shop ID is the primary key of the branch table. So your answers are going to be category in branch table and shop ID in sales table, right? So if you got all two correct, you can have 2 marks. All right, then they're asking, yeah, so they have to change the telephone number in each and every shop ID, right? Not the change, they have to insert they have to insert a telephone number for each and every shop. Then what should be the table that to be changed? So definitely it's a branch table because it is talking about the shops. So shops details are inside the branch table, right? You are not going to choose the sales table because it is a foreign key reference are there. So you should go with the primary key reference. That means the shop ID is the primary key of a branch table, and it is like describing about a branch when it comes to the branch table. So it's the branch table that you are going to choose. So 1 mark is given for saying branch table. And the sixth part is talking about ABC College is having a total sale. So they have to take a query for the total sales of the ABC College. And what are the tables that you need to consider, right? Now to take the total sales regarding the ABC College, now if you look at this 3 tables, ABC College is in the branch table and total sales are in the sales table. Now, regardless of this querying part, if I ask you to choose the total sales from the ABC College from these tables, මේ tables ටික දීලා ඔයගලන්ට ඒකෙන් හොයන්න කිව්වොත් ABC College එකට අදාළව total sales හොයන්න. How you are going to do? You are going to match the shop ID of the ABC College. මුලින්ම හොයාගන්නවා ABC College එකේ shop ID එක මොකක්ද කියලා. So it is 001. Then you goes to the sales table and see 001 and its correspondent sales. So there are 3 entries regarding 001, which is the first 2 rows and the 4th row. Then you are going to add to 12,400, 18,700 and 11,230. Right? That is how we are going to find it manually. So it is the very same way that the Access is going to find out. So Access need these 2 tables to make the query regarding the ABC College total sales. So the answer should be branch table and the sales table, right? So for that particular thing, they have given 1 mark for saying sales table and branch table. And for the 5th part, they are asking, the shop ID 004. There is a new shop called shop ID 004 with for the milk and photocopy in HIJ College. So which table or tables needs to be updated? So you should update 2 tables because a branch is being added and a new category is being added, which is milk and photocopying, because that category is not there in your table, milk and photocopy, right? So 2 tables should be said, category table and the branch table. So for saying category table and the branch table, you are given 2 marks, right? And at the last part, they are asking what are the records that need to be inserted when the previous one is happens, like the fifth part is happened. So you should add the new branch to the branch table, like HIG College 004, and category is going to be D, because you are going to add a new category to the category table saying D as milk and photocopy, right? So this should be the way it's going to be. Yeah, people, is it clear so far? Right, great. How about others? Yes, Vihansa, it's enough to draw the records to. Like you don't need to go with the table headings, right? Right, okay. So the next two questions, like since the time has passed, I'm going to take it from the other in the next lesson, in the next session, actually. So we are left with how many questions? Like we've done the database. Yes, we have to go through the. Oh, what's happened to these papers? So this is the fifth question, and 6 and 7 is there. Yes. So the question number 6 and question number 7 should be done. So I'm going to discuss those two in the next class, plus 2017's MCQ. So be ready with the incorrect MCQ numbers, right? So I have to lay the grid regarding that. And these two questions, which is regarding the 2018 paper, we are going to discuss by next week, right? So keep doing the papers, people. Keep practicing that, right? So you need it to do the things, right? So don't lose your practice, regardless of discussing or not. We are going to discuss the entire thing, so just do the things, right? Okay, people. So I'm going to see you next week for the very same time. So thank you for participating today. So I'm going to end the session. One another thing. I need to show you your lesson recordings hereafter will be on my website, right? And that website, you can access the website by typing the starlabs.lk, right? Right? Starlabs.lk. So in starlabs.lk, you are having this menu called lessons recording, and choose the correct institute. Like for you people, for every people in the IME group or in Starlabs, everyone is having the Starlabs recording, right? So don't go for the Nanopathy. Nanopathy is some other institute. So in this Starlabs recording, you can find the you can find all the recordings which has done in this Starlabs. So scroll down to your particular recording. So it is grade 11 sessions. So since I'm discussing the grade 11 like the very same paper in two sessions, like in the previous day and today. So I'm uploading just one because I'm discussing the very same thing. So you can find the recordings right over here, and you can access the older records using this playlist, right? So you can take the playlist from this particular icon, right? So once you click it, the previous recordings are listed out here. Some record anyway, you are going to see the recordings on today or yesterday. So regarding the grade 11, the same lesson, right? Yeah, so keep that in mind. Right, keep that in mind. So today's session also been uploaded to that particular place, like sometimes later, right? So if you want, you can prefer, right? Hi. So I'm going to end the session then, people. So thank you very much. So if you got any questions, meanwhile, you can send it to me. Otherwise, we'll meet on next Sunday for the same time, right? Thank you very much, people. Bye-bye. Have a nice weekend. මිල් ප්‍රයිස් ටික අරගෙන අපි එහෙම යනවද නේ අර පවා යනවා. හරියට. කරන් තියෙනවා. ඔව්. අනේ charging වලට දැන් මගේ ෆෝන් එක charge කරන්න බැරි. 71ක් තියෙනවා මොකක්ද? අම්මලා ගෙදර කරන්ට් යනවා තාම.